Sue and Roger are engaged to be married. Roger, who has been away for some time, sends word that he will be coming for a 24-hour visit. He arrives just as the sun is setting on Friday evening, and Sue's brother lets him in. Sue is taking a shower. He waits patiently until finally Sue gives him a quick greeting as she races through to the kitchen. She's baking a cake and ironing some dresses. At last they sit down to talk, but Sue sees a pile of newspapers and wants to discuss the news, about which Roger couldn't care less. Sue's brother and sister have retired to the next room where they are playing ping pong. They have the stereo turned up so loud that Sue and Roger can't communicate. But before saying goodnight, she assures him that tomorrow will be a wonderful day, spent out in nature such as Roger enjoys. She has rented a couple of motorbikes, because isn't that the best way to observe the wonders of creation? So they spend the day on motorbikes, and with no communication, and they return home. Roger is waiting again when he overhears Sue telling her sister, "I can hardly wait till he goes, because we'll sure have fun tonight." Is it any surprise that the letters cease abruptly after the visit? That's only a parable. But when Jesus arrives for his Friday evening appointment with us, does he find a similar situation? And if so, how can he help but conclude that we have no real love for him, and the disappointment he feels is no parable? The heart that loves its Lord will make every possible preparation for the hours with him, so that nothing may distract their fellowship. The heart that loves will be very sensitive to his wishes. Sunday today is considered by some people as a holiday, a day for recreation and relaxation, a day with the family. Others view it as a great day for a round of golf or a time to mow the lawn. Could this attitude stem from the fact that many misunderstand the purpose for a special weekly worship day, as well as even misidentifying which day God has set aside for his Sabbath day and when it begins? Bible scholars who support the creation account in Genesis agreed that God originally set aside the seventh day of the week, the day we call Saturday, as his special Sabbath day, way back at the creation of this world. They also support the fact that the traditional biblical Sabbath day is still the seventh day of the week, the day we call Saturday. However, somewhere along the line, someone changed the day from Saturday, the seventh day of the week, to Sunday, the first day of the week. Who changed it? God set aside the seventh day of the week as a perpetual reminder of his creating this world in 6 literal days. The Sabbath points man back to the great act to remind him continually that God created man in his own image. The Sabbath is more than just one of the 10 Commandments. It's an experience in communion with God on the same day of the week that he gave to Adam and Eve. God blessed the seventh day. He sanctified it for man's benefit. All this is clear in the creation account. For someone to come along and substitute another day, any other day, in place of God's Sabbath, presupposes that such a person is equal to God himself. And for someone else to pick up that day, recognizing it as a substitute, and expect to receive the blessing God promises for those who worship on his seventh-day Sabbath, borders on presumption itself. We must turn to the book for answers to our questions as we encounter the day that shines. According to God's method of reckoning, which comes first, the light part or the dark part of the day?
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
So according to the Bible, the day begins with the dark part of it, the nighttime. When does the Sabbath begin?
It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls. In the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening unto evening, shall ye celebrate your Sabbath.
According to Bible reckoning, the seventh day of the week runs from Friday evening sunset to Saturday evening sunset. But since most Christians today keep Sunday instead of God's Sabbath, someone must have changed it. Did Jesus change it?
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Then could it be that the apostles changed the Sabbath after Jesus returned to heaven?
And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the Scriptures. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath, and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks.
So Paul was still observing the same seventh-day Sabbath long after the resurrection. Evidently, he knew nothing of any change. The truth is that the New Testament is completely silent about any change in the day of rest. There isn't a word, not even a hint, of any sacredness being attached to the first day of the week. Paul, in Romans 6, speaks of baptism as a memorial of the resurrection. But nowhere is there any suggestion that Sunday be observed in honor of Jesus' resurrection, as some claim it is. But while the Bible is silent about any change in the Sabbath, it is not silent about the fact that God's authority would be challenged and an attempt would be made to change his law. Paul talked about the coming of a man of sin, a falling away. What would this man of sin do?
Who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
What did Daniel say about this great apostasy, this challenge to God's authority?
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Men's laws are changed all the time. That would not be of concern to Daniel. Evidently, he foresaw an attempt to make alterations in times and in God's law. Has it happened? Has such an attempt been made? Listen to this from the Catholic Encyclopedia.
The Church, on the other hand, after changing the day of rest from the Jewish Sabbath, or seventh day of the week, to the first, made the third commandment refer to Sunday as the day to be kept holy as the Lord's Day.
That is the only one of many statements claiming responsibility for the change. John saw 3 angels, symbolic of 3 messages to be given to men just before Jesus comes. What did the first angel have to preach?
Saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven, and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters.
Who is it that we are to worship? Him that made. That's Jesus, isn't it? And it's the Sabbath that reminds us that he is the Creator. What is the message of the second angel?
And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
This message, along with Revelation 18 verse 4, is a call to God's people to come out of false worship, away from false doctrine and unscriptural teachings. What is the third message?
And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God.
Here John has recorded the most solemn warning in all the scriptures. Here is something that God considers very serious. He is warning us against being identified with something an apostate religious organization considers a mark of its power. How far will the enemy go in attempting to enforce that mark?
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Whatever the mark is, whatever it is that will one day be enforced by law, it must be something that is considered by an apostate ecclesiastical organization as a sign, a proof of his power, his authority, his influence. The Augsburg Confession of 1530, Article 28, referring to the Church of the Middle Ages, states,
They allege the change of the Sabbath into the Lord's day, contrary, as it seemeth, to the Decalogue. And they have no example more in their mouths than the change of the Sabbath. They will needs have the Church's power to be very great, because it hath dispensed with a precept of the Decalogue.
An earthly power has, in effect, said to God, "You put your blessings on the seventh day. I've put mine on the first. Practically, all the Christian world seems to prefer my blessing to yours. If I could change the divine law and get away with it, isn't that a mark of my power?" That's a good question. Think it through. We don't have to sit on a throne and wear some kind of crown and say, "I'm God," to be guilty of sitting in the place of God. The throne of God is stolen and set up most often in individual hearts. If we are trying to save ourselves by our own works, trying to go it alone, we qualify. If we are trying to save ourselves, then we are trying to be our own God. Even if we are too busy to let God save us, we think we have only one alternative: to save ourselves. God will get the message. But is that the message we really want to send? Why not restore to Him the stolen throne? Wonderful Lord, thank you that the same power that made the worlds is available to me in my struggle against sin. And thank you for strength to follow you, even when the way seems strange or even very difficult. I don't need to worry about the power. I need only to decide where I stand in this conflict, and that I do now. I stand with Jesus. In His name, amen.